icebreaker map to be determined will be decided if we happen to go 7. Pulse, if we go 7, we'll be here till midnight.
I mean, I'm down if you are.
Oh?
But to follow up on that a little bit, Misty Merc and was it Careless?
Yes.
Yeah, Careless. Those two are the ones that they had as DPS, but it looks like they might be changing some stuff up now to fit this Orisa pick.
Yeah, I think that's what they're doing. I think the roles are pretty flexible on both sides from what I've understood. And from what I understand, Misty Merc here going to be playing a Junkrat here on defense, so they're probably going to try to see if they can stall him out here in the first choke. Pretty decent picks all around. Not a Goats comp, really, with the Hanzo and only the 2 tanks there, so I'm liking what I'm seeing so far. On the other side, though, it looks like it's a bit of a mishmash here, but they are going with sort of a triple support lineup here, but not necessarily. Is that a Hans Goats? Is that what you call it?
This is kind of like a variation of the Dragon Strike, the Grab Dragon Strike. It looks like they're building their comp around that combo kind of by itself, because there's not a whole lot of synergy between like Ana and Hanzo with the rest of their team beyond just being like decent picks. So we'll see how it works out for them.
Yeah, and they've already moved up here to the choke as both teams are trying to sort of compete now to see if they can get him through. Misty Merc gets a great kill there on Godslayer, so losing the Brigade is going to be really big for them. But 2 more kills here coming up here for the Pachimari Ninjas as they're able to sort of recover a little bit now, and it looks like the Omegahounds are going to have to fall back a little bit as Fear's pushing up and trying to make space for his team. I like the aggressive Rhine play here. Zdox gets D-Mech, so that's going to be big. So it looks like the Omegahounds are going to have to back up a little bit. That payload is finally moving. I think they're going to be able to contest point A and probably get it here. Zdox has got to fall back, but looks like the rest of the Omegahounds have sort of settled behind the back. But here comes a Dragon Strike already coming through. Tire coming through here by Misty Merc actually catches Coach Taeyeon there in the back, and a Dragon comes through onto the point here to try to see if they can zone them out. Unfortunately, not going to happen as Godslayer comes back and takes out Quizzy B. It looks like they've cleared out the rest of the Omegahounds here, and they're probably going to get the point.
Yeah, and the Diva stall was just a little too late. She flew a little too high. Kind of gets D-Mech there because of it. They really broke up in the middle of that first fight, like when they were removing themselves from the high ground and sort of does the cart, and it sort of called their demise a little bit early because of it. But if they can group up a little bit stronger, especially since they're still running like a variant of it, if they can group up on the Rhine a little bit better and make use of the more heals in all, then they should be able to put a lot of damage into this Goats comp with the Pharah.
Yeah, they should be able to do, they should be okay with that. And with the Pharah now raining rockets in, they're going to have to be a little aware. They really don't have a hit scan to sit down and take him down. Jonas is going to have to get lucky with a couple shots here. Careless comes in and now has stopped the payload here. Rally coming in now on the side with a Graviton catches Mr. and Quizzy B, and a Dragon comes through and down they go. So the Dragon takes out one and finishes off the other. Here comes the charge in coming in from Fear, trying to open up some space here as Coach Taeyeon takes out Careless, and it's going to move. They're going to have to back up the Omegahounds a little bit here, so they're going to have to defend right on point B.
Yeah, you saw Fear sort of lining up a flank shatter there from right next to the courthouse, but they didn't even need it because the Graviton just came out and caught a couple of people, and they followed up with the Dragon Strike, and it was enough to make them have enough space in order to push pretty much all the way to the point B.
Yeah, Diva Bomb here comes onto the point. It's not going to be able to clear out anybody. Fear catches a good charge there on Dynamic Jade, but Misty Merc in the background takes out 2 players, but they didn't stop the payload from moving. A little bit of an error there. They won the fight, but lost the war as Omegahounds here ends up sort of stalling the rest of Pachimari Ninjas, but the Ninjas get the point and get the new spawn. Oh dear.
Ah, that was kind of funny. Like, they all ran away from the tire, kind of hit behind the VW car there, and then the Lucio just kind of plopped down on cart and pushed the last point whatever meters.
Got to be a little bit aware there. Omegahounds here playing in this championship game. They've got to make sure that they do not succumb to little errors like that. That will seriously cost your team. As now they're going to be defending here in second corner really much, because this is a very hard point. As Careless charges in, goes deep, gets purpled, and he's going to get killed. He did not look like got anybody on that charge, so they're now down a main tank here, as it looks like they're going to have to back up as a nano boost comes down here. Boostio on the field as they're trying to sort of clear out the the rest of the members of Omegahounds. Oh, it looks like MJ Coleman gets slept in the air, but not before he took out Godslayer. Lucio ult here will actually protect the rest of the team, and a Graviton catches most of the Omegahounds on the point, but it looks like the kills are going to be for the Ninjas here, as it looks like Dynamic Jade here is in full stall mode. But the Ninjas doing a number here on the Omegahounds here on point A, as they are getting all the kills, and they're going to get all the points, as it will be a 3-point take here for the Ninjas in a very, very quick time.
Yeah, I would say that was a side product of GOATS, but it was really just them getting the first pick every fight. They really weren't prepared for all the all the counter ults coming through. And they just kept being able to win fights off 1 or 2 picks and push it the whole way. The one fight that they did lose, they were able to cap off of the Lucio because they were all sort of chasing down kills. And it just sort of kept rolling. I do think it might be a bit of a byproduct of their lineup, because looking at who they have playing right now, they have 3 DPS and a flex player in. So it might be because of this map, or because they don't have some of their normal players playing in what they're used to.
Yeah, so it might be one of those things in which they might have a rotation that is not something that they're used to, but a huge time bank of about 339 here that they're going to have to deal with. And with now the Omegahounds on offense, they're going to have to come up with a sort of a comp to sort of deal with what they just did, with what they just sort of faced. Ionis now going from the Hanzo to the Ashe, and that sort of increases, I think, the area DPS a bit, with Ionis going to be able to sort of dynamite and sort of zone out areas, light people on fire, and put some pressure onto the backline as a sort of a mid-range sniper pretty much. So it's going to be very, very interesting here to see what the Pachimari Ninjas have in mind for the Omegahounds. And then on the Omegahound side, it looks like they're going with a sort of a 2-2-2 comp. And it looks like Misty Merc here going with the yeah, he's going with the McCree, and MJ Coleman here going with the Hanzo. So they're going to get pushed out, and they're not even going to get contested pretty much, as it looks like the Ninjas are going to stay underground here and probably going to give him as much space as possible until they get the choke.
Yeah, they're running GOAT, so it looks like they really just want to make sure the Ashe is set where she needs to be, which is relatively far back, and then just make sure that they're safe and don't get caught in rotation like the Hounds were the first rounds.
Understandable here, but they've given up a lot of space, so they're going to try to trap them here underneath the archway, because you'll see Fear probably move up here very, very soon. As soon as that car comes up, there he is, there he goes, he stops it right there, and it doesn't allow them the space to sort of fight freely there. And now the rest of the Ninjas here pushing in on Careless, and Careless has to give up a little bit of space here, but he needs to push out. There, he gets a big kill there on Slow. That's going to be what they need, and 2 big kills from Careless before he gets taken down here by Drex, but it was a Rhine trade, so therefore the fight is going to be on. So Z-Dox here trying to make sure he can sort of take down Coach Taeyeon on that opposing Zarya, but that fight will continue. Rally already coming in from the Brigitte in the back. That's going to give them some armor here and probably put the push in a little bit. Taeyeon takes out Quizzy, so that is going to be a big, big kill. Their Reinhardt is back, so Fear is going to be able to contest here, contest Careless as he comes back, and they're going to push him back as Careless goes down immediately as he was charged in, and that's going to be that. It looks like Omegahound's going to be pushed back to spawn.
Omegahounds started that fight with the double pick, but they were kind of scared to push into an Ashe Brig, which is understandable, but they really kind of missed their opportunity to clean up the fight when they still had one.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? Sometimes you just got to go balls to the wall and go in there, press your advantage if you notice it, and just sort of take your lumps as you go. And sometimes you'll lose people on the way, but you might have a better result because of it. And now Careless here is now stuck behind the payload as he's trying to find some open space, but a huge shatter there as he takes down everyone. But it looks like Bob has taken his spot and is preventing the rest of his team from coming through. Great Bob placement there as Careless goes down and is just not going to be able to do anything. As they push this payload up, it looks like Godslayer got taken down in the process, though, so the defense from Pachimari is going to be down a Brigitte as MJ Coleman takes out Ionis in the back. So that's what they needed here, and it looks like they're going to make space for themselves. Coach Hayon here trying to sort of hold it out. A big shatter here, but he couldn't charge in as the Graviton traps them all in. Here comes the Dragon, and that's going to take out the coach as MJ Coleman takes out the rest of the players here on the Pachimari Ninjas. They're going to open up some space for themselves and hopefully take point A relatively easily now.
Yeah, it doesn't look like the Ninjas are in any position to recontest it, and they really weren't. They're sort of setting up back towards closer to the bank, it looks like. But they were able to win that off the easy grab dragon strike combo that is such good synergy between them, and just push it through that time like they were supposed to.
Absolutely, no diva on the field, so meaning nothing will get eaten. So those gravitons are just free kills here if you can sort of time it up with that dragon. And MJ Coleman already getting a kill here on Ionis in the back, so they're at 6v5. They need to sort of hit this, but a shatter comes in. Will catch Coach Taeyon here, and Fear goes down. So now it looks like the front line is starting to collapse here for the Pachimari Ninjas. They're pressing their advantage and being aggressive. This is what they need to do. They're pushing slow all the way back here. They're just going to try to sort of gather back up with the tank line, and they're going to get a lot of space on this push.
Yeah, especially if this Ryan comes all the way to the door and is able to just keep them in there so they can't even recontest. They should have pretty much a free point B.
Yeah, and it looks like here they are going to contest directly on point B, and a rally comes out immediately here from Godslayer, as he's going to be trying to make sure that they've got a big advantage here as they're going to try to push through. Careless has got to be careful. He did not have the healing that he needed. High Noon from Misty Merc actually only catches Godslayer in the back, but with Bob out on the field, they're going to zone out pretty much everybody here from the Omegahounds, so they're going to be able to cap point, they're going to prevent the cap from point B. Excuse me, relatively easy, but with only 2:24 on the clock, they need to make up some time here.
It was one of those cases where both teams were very aware of what ults were coming out, and had Misty Merc even stayed down, it might have led a little bit to more pressure, keeping the defending team in sort of that room. And what I mean by that is he was kind of just up there waiting for a High Noon flank when he could have been down on the floor just shooting people instead of letting them get that free space in. And the way that the Ninjas played, they very much reacted to it instantly, so pretty much everyone was able to hide from it.
Yeah, it looks like they were ready for it here, but Synergy's coming right back up as both Miss J. Coleman and Z-Dox here get ready for the Graviton combo. So they're going to be looking for some space here. So Z-Dox here looking to catch as many people as he can here. It looks like the Graviton actually comes out on the other side first, and a great Transcendence here by Quizzy B, but that Trans is still up, so people are going to still stay alive. That's going to come out. No, it doesn't look like they're going to save that as 2 kills come out on the side here of the Omegahounds. Misty Merc actually making up for it, taking out Godslayer. Taeyon here now trying to sort of stay alive. The Transcendence comes out here to try to keep the team sort of holding this point and making sure that they sort of keep their advantage. There is no tank on the other side here, so I think that's what they're a little hesitant of. Fear has already come back out as the Reinhardt finally is joining back the team as Careless comes back here. They were waiting for that shield, but Taeyon got 2 big kills here, so it looks like the rest of the Omegahounds had to sort of fall back. I'm thinking they probably should have pressed that advantage a little bit, but it looks like they're just getting ready for like a final push here.
Yeah, that was the second or third time this map even where we see a case where both main tanks fall, and then it's just sort of the 2 Zaryas, for lack of better words, almost kind of like dogfighting in the middle while their entire team's way back on opposite corners of the map. And it's just whoever gets the picks.
Yeah, but here comes the combo, and they're going to be trapped into the middle. That extra armor, though, is going to keep them alive along with the extra healing. And it looks like another grab is actually going to catch them here into the back and wipe them out. It looks like it's not good here for the Omegahounds, as it looks like Bob and the rest of his cohorts are going to wipe out the Hounds here. 17 seconds left to go. Are they going to even make it back for another push?
It doesn't look like it. Especially Dorado point B, it's really hard to make it all the way back to point B if you don't push it there on your first try. So it's very likely they won't be able to touch.
Looks like Quincy B is going to be able to touch in time, but he had to blow his Transcendence to do so, and he's by himself. So it's just basically one-on-ones coming into the point as they're trying to just basically hold desperately here in order to make sure that they can still keep holding that play. MJ Coleman now on Tracer. He's got to get a big Super 6K in order to do anything, as it looks like Careless here trying to Earth Shatter, unable to do so, and that's going to be that. The Ninjas here able to take the first map 3-1.
Initiating match.
Alrighty, folks, welcome back, and it is the Temple of Anubis. Everybody has gotten back from the restroom. Bio breaks are over, and we are at the Temple of Anubis. For those watching at home, this is a 2CP assault map, which means it's multiple point takes here between the Omegahounds and Pachimari Ninjas. Ninjas leading this match 1-0, and it will be the Ninjas here on offense first. So it had the Omegahounds actually opting to go on defense here, which will give them a slight advantage. But the Ninjas here coming out with an interesting comp, as it looks like they're showing a little bit of dive here, try to get aggressive on offense, whereas it looks like there's a Mei that's going to be coming out here for the Omegahounds.
Yeah, as much as I like May, unless they're doing something unique with the wall, I don't think it's a particularly great pick for Anubis point A. Point B is a different story, and if they're building up to play for point B Blizzard defenses, that's a different thing. But a lot of the chokes on Anubis, there's just ways to get around them that's a lot easier than some other points. So we'll see how it works out, because sometimes it's just abusing what the other team's bad at. But, like I said, it's one of those picks that I normally wouldn't like try too much on Anubis first point.
Yeah, maybe they're trying to sort of funnel them through a particular direction, and that's what Bathima might be trying to do. But it looks like it's a pharmacy dive here, as Godslayer and Fear are sort of just hanging outside, making sure they want to wait, see what they got. And Fear, Godslayer going immediately up onto the high ground, and the dive comes in. They're looking for a target there in the back. Missymark has got to be careful. He doesn't want to get blown up right away, but it's Zedox here who does get the first kill, and it will be Coach Taeyeon here going demeched. So the Baby Diva here off the ground, but they've got to be careful about that Pharah, who's going to be in the air, just sort of trying to gun them down, as Godslayer trying his best to sort of rocket anybody that he can. Looks like the Reinhardt here has sort of trapped himself under the bridge. Godslayer almost getting frozen there by MJ Coleman, and it looks like Coleman is actually trapped with rockets getting pointed right at him. Charge comes in, as it looks like now Careless is actually trapped by his own wall. So, but it looks like Misty Merc does go down, as it looks like they do get the kills that they need, as Ionis on that Widow has actually planted himself on top of the archway and has started taking people down. Rez comes in here, as it looks like Fear actually gets rezzed. Careless getting 2, but it's not going to be enough, and it is Pachimari that will capture point A.
Ooh, and that hammer down that came out at the last second really has to hurt for their defense, especially since they're coming in with the Valkyrie. That was one of the few things they could have had to stop them.
Yeah, that's not going to be good here. Ionis is going to have some free reign here, as it looks like they're not going to have anybody to sort of contest the Widow on the high ground. Actually, no. Actually, looks like Mixing Merc has actually gone to the Widow himself, so they're going to be taking a Widow duel here, as the dive will come in from the left side, but Misty Merc gets immediately killed, so no contest here from an opposing Widow, as they're just going to dive into the corner. It's going to be one of those matches. They're going to be very aggressive. Ionis takes out MJ Coleman, and Quizzy B goes down too, so down goes everybody on the side here of the Omegahounds. Zedox does catch Coach Taeyeon down, but they want to make sure they cap this point immediately, as it looks like Dynamic Jade here with the Coalescence trying to sort of hold off as best as she can, but it doesn't look like it's going to be happening here, as the ult will take her down. And it looks like the Reinhardt Careless takes out Drex, as the stall is in full swing here now. Godslayer takes out MJ Coleman, and here we go. This fight's going to last a while unless the rest of the members of Pachimari Ninjas can kill quickly. Misty Merc does go down, and that's going to be that. It looks like Pachimari was able to clear them out and do get 2 points very, very quickly.
Yeah, that's Lucio sound barrier there coming at the end really saved the push, and they're just able to push through with it. I really liked the dive Pachimari Ninja was running. That very first push they did was a little bit slow, because they played it with the Pharah a bit wrong. Like, they all came out at the same time instead of letting the Pharah and Widow do some poke before choosing a target. But after that, they really just adapted for it. The Widow on point B defense set up a little too soon. They just took advantage of it and just kept rolling through on picks like that for the rest of the map.
Yeah, and now it is switch time, and it will be the Omegahounds here going to offense, whereas it looks like the Ninjas here are now going to defense here, and I see a Symmetra, and I don't know if that's going to be real, but man, I do hope it is, because Symmetra...
It's only real if they have a Bastion.
Well, Drex is trying to figure out whether or not he wants to go, but Fear could be... Fear's a turret, right? Like, he could be sort of... He sits
a little bit.
Yeah. So it looks like here, Slove will be coming...
I respect it.
Yeah, I do too. And Slove will be coming out here, or S-Love. I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce that, but it looks like they're all going to sort of plant themselves here up in the top. It could be just because they want to teleport Fear up to the high ground here, and then going to teleport it back.
We see the Sim going back, though. We see the Sim going back.
Yeah, it looks like...
So I'd expect that to swap to a second healer. Possibly a Zen or something.
Oh yeah, either that or something range that could sort of get up there, or it looks like it's going to be a Mercy.
Okay.
Yeah, there it is, or a Brig.
Ooh, they're also swapping the. Oh, okay. I was gonna say, they're swapping to Lucio too. It's like they're not gonna.
No, they're trying to. They swapped the Lucio to reset the speed to get him back in time. So they,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
that's sort of smart there, huh?
It's a little clever.
Yeah, very. So it looks like here they've planted themselves up on the high ground here. So they're going. That's where they're going to be holding from. This is a classic Temple of Anubis strategy where everybody is basically up there and they have to come to you. And here comes the dive here right onto the high ground. And Godslayer though takes down Careless, so he's unable to sort of get anything down. Now the rest of the team has got to sort of fall down. They've already gotten about 3/4 of it away from a first tick here as Quizzy B is actually contesting the point. So that sort of forced them down and sort of half onto the ground here. Misty Merc takes out Ionis, so they lose their Widow here on defense. So they're probably going to be able to res that back up, but Careless getting a kill here onto the Genji in the back. So they're getting kills slowly but surely, and they're pushing back the Pachimaris. So Pachimaris here not going to be able to sort of deal with what's going on the field. It looks like Coach Taeyeon gets taken out. Slowly but surely, they're taking out them one by one, and it's going to be that. I think it's a matter of time at this point. MJ Coleman just going to commit the ult here just to wipe them out and keep the time up on the clock.
I really like the idea Pachimari Ninjas had there coming out on the field. There are a couple things that were what I'd call a little bit weird. Like Lucio Mercy was a little bit strange for that comp, and having a Genji instead of something a little bit more spammy to go with the Orisa was a little bit weird. But I appreciate the effort, as always, with these comps.
Yeah,
I really enjoy seeing these weird comps.
Exactly, and they're going to go in deeper and right away, and they're going to try to push this. Goes right after the Mercy, but unfortunately it looks like Careless goes down right away. He didn't blow his ult. I'm actually surprised after he took down the Mercy, but I think too many members of his team sort of fell here. Zedox actually goes down and is going to be mechless at this point, so he's going to try to either die really quickly or get that mech super fast, but it looks like Fear is going to wipe Zedox out, and it's going to be a reset here for the Omegahounds. 6 minutes on the clock, plenty of time here, but I think they might be sort of trying to build up a little bit of ults here.
Yeah, I'd be careful about building up ults just because at this point they're kind of even in the bank, so they really should have pressed the advantage when they had it. But I mean, if you kind of look what's up right now, you have both tank ults and the support ult coming in from Omegahounds, while you only have one support and one tank. So if they just go all in blow, they could very easily wipe it.
Well, Diva Bomb here is going to clear out the point and takes out Dynamic Jade, who had just ulted. So unfortunately, that's going to be that here for this push. Another Diva Bomb coming in. Nobody able to run there on the other side. They get 2 on there, so they do have the advantage. But MJ Coleman goes down, and now they're building some point. They do get an initial tick here, as they've trapped the rest of the team on the other side. Zedok got slept there, as it looks like the Monkey is trying to take out many players as he can. It looks like it's only going to be Godslayer here on the point, as a Lucio ult actually comes out here to sort of try to stall them as best they can. They're building up more point here, so they've got to be careful. Ulting Monkey here is going to draw them out. It looks like if they might have stayed on the point and fought, they might have actually gotten a little bit more percentage, but it looks like they've spread them out. They've gotten a tick. That's good enough for them as they back out.
Yeah, they sort of... We see a lot of the Omegahounds being very bloodthirsty this match. Both on this one and the last one, where they just sort of go and chase all these kills, and it led to them to C9 point B on Anubis or on Dorado because of it. And then here we see them sort of leaving point to try and kill everyone again. When had they hold up a bit better and regroup, they might have had a shot of actually pushing that and taking either second tick or the entire point.
Exactly. So you got to be careful. Point control is very important here, especially in assault. You want to watch your positioning and make sure you get as much of that percentage as possible as they engage again here. As it looks like MJ Coleman here getting 3 big kills here on the side. 4 big kills now coming in for the side.
And then an additional.
Exactly. And now they're just a matter of just cleaning everybody up and getting onto the point. But they're a little too spread out, as it looks like the bomb here is actually going to zone everybody out here, as the rest of the members here of the Pachimaris will be able to get back, and the fight will continue here onto the point. May now up, trying to sort of freeze and stall anybody they can. Fear with a big ult there, taking 2 out from the Hounds, as it looks like now the advantage is gone. Zedox here unable to sort of contest anymore, as both tanks are going to have to sort of fall back. They didn't even get a second tick there, so not a good enough push here for the Omegahounds.
Yeah, it started with a really good barrage, but then the rest of the team sort of all split up as soon as they went in. When it's up like that, you really want to make sure that you're calling the targets and getting people to focus in and take out the last couple people so that they can't come out and stall like that again.
Yeah, very, very dangerous there for Pachimari's there. They went down 3 and were able to sort of hold off on that push, so good job by them. As now it looks like here, Missy Merc trying to go above, and it looks like the monkey is actually preventing him from getting like a perch, as now they've all gathered back in and they're getting ready to attack again. 2:56 here on the clock. They have to get the remaining 2 points as they dive in against the counter dive here, as it looks like a Hanzo dragon here, trying to zone everybody out. That dragon still, excuse me, that bomb took out 2, and another counter bomb getting sent back into the back. That's not going to get anybody as they are already down 2, but Careless here takes down Godslayer as a res coming in from Dynamic Jade is going to even up the fight, and now they have a shot here. They need to take Fear out and make sure Coach Taeyeon does not do anything here on the point, but they're having some trouble here as it looks like Fear did take out Dynamic Jade, so down goes the healers, and that's it. Down goes the push. 2:20 here on the clock. What went wrong there, Pulse?
I'm gonna be honest and say I'm not entirely sure. It looks like they had it, but one thing that's I've seen very consistently is one team will get a diva bomb, kill 2 people, and then the other team will just decide to blow the diva bomb and also get 2 people. It's one of those things where if you lose 2 people to an ult, you really have to back out and regroup and use that ult for the next push instead of just blowing it and then dying anyway. And it's been pretty consistently happening almost every fight or almost every single map here.
Yeah, and it looks like they're diving in again, and they do get Godslayer immediately here, so the Mei is off the field, and
and they also made her blow ult too.
Exactly, so Careless now going back onto the point. Now they're getting ticks. They do get 2 ticks here, and now they're just trying to force them off, as it looks like they got really, really close there, as the ult really almost won them that fight, as it looks like Misty Merc on the Doomfist here now trying to do as much work as he can. In these like close quarters, the Doomfist can do a lot of damage, as it looks like though Coach Taeyeon is going to be able to push back the rest of the team, and it looks like they're going to be able to hold with only about a minute left. They got it up to about 90% and unable to finish. Oh dear.
Yeah, Coach Taeyeon has been getting bombs incredibly fast. He's had one almost every single fight, and it's just really been detrimental to the Hounds here because they can't push in without fear of just getting blown up every single time.
Yeah, and they're having really, really trouble. Now you see the Reaper here from MJ Coleman here, trying to just basically take out the tanks as fast as possible. This is a good tactic here on Anubis because you're fighting in such a tight space. They dive in again, and they are trying to aim for Fear, but a Pulse Bomb actually comes in, does not get anybody. Here comes the Reaper ult from MJ Coleman, gets him into the back and clears them out. Now they've just got to get rid of the monkey in the point. It looks like Godslayer, though, still alive. Here comes the Doomfist ult. Great wall there, but not enough to take him, to prevent him from actually doing any damage, as it looks like Fear trying his best to sort of keep himself alive here onto the point. Down he goes. 6 players now on the point. Now it's a matter of just killing people and focusing fire. Diva Bomb actually clears out the point a little bit, but not enough. Nano boosted Lucio here on the field. Lucio is stalling as best they can. Diva Bomb, everybody got off the point. They've got about a second left. They've got to be careful as that bomb did take out 2. Coach Taeyeon, oh my goodness, he's going to look like he's going to end up winning this fight for them if they can stay alive. They're going to have the spawn advantages. They're going to be able to get back. It's just going to be a matter of whether or not they can just last long enough for reinforcements to come in and wipe out the rest of the Omegahounds. They're fighting in here, and it looks like Quizzy Biggie and Mixie Merc are down as reinforcement coming in from the Omegahounds, not going to be able to make it in time. It's just going to be a matter of time here before they clear him out. They could go up 2-0 here. Overtime ticks down, and that is going to be that. A 6-minute hold here by the Pachimari Ninjas will allow them to take Anubis 2-1. They've been the team that's sort of been propensity to running goats in certain situations. I don't know if they're going to be running it again here, but goats, sort of slambulance is also a good one, something that we don't see very often with a heavy tank lineup. Instead of going 3-3, you go 4-2. Just a lot of things that you can sort of do here on Kings Row.
And the comp you mentioned at the beginning, I think the one that they tried to call the Great Debate, which I'm a fan of.
Yeah.
It's a really fun one to do. But I would like to point out that both teams really haven't been running the pure goats yet, so I don't know if we'd see them pull that out.
Yeah.
Like when they ran it, I believe it was a pure Moira goats, if I recall. It was either Moira or Zen goats, but we haven't really seen pure either of those, so it may or may not happen. We'll see.
Yeah, but I'm liking it because the variety of comps here provides really, really nice. Instead of like the current meta, of course, is goats v goats. So you see a lot of that now in a lot of the higher level games. There's not a lot of flexibility, but to see some of the flexible players here and the different comps makes it very, very refreshing. And just a reminder, the Pachimari Ninjas now up 2-0 in this Rose League final between them and the Omegahounds. Omegahounds here looking to at least get a map here under their belts before we go into halftime, but it looks like now the Ninjas here opting to be on offense as they will be pushing through, and it is going to be a solid sort of 2-2-2 comp here from them. But Ionis here trying to sort of see if she can sort of snipe from a little bit from behind. They open up some space here. The main wall sort of split them up, but now they're being very aggressive here onto the point as Fear's pushing in, and Careless there gets slept. Fear though charges in and hits the phone booth instead. So therefore 2 kills coming in here for the Omegahounds. They're going to be able to sort of turn this around. Lokud here pushing them right back into the spawn. It looks like here down goes Fear, and it looks like back to the drawing board for the rest of the Pachimari Ninjas. Offense there not going to be able to pull out Z-Dox here with 2 late kills.
Yeah, we do see them running that Mei defense, which is a pick that we saw him pull out before. And that first wall was almost a little out of place. Like, it did its job well enough to split the team for a couple seconds, even though it didn't completely block off the pathway. And they really were able to sort of capitalize on it.
Ooh, it looks like a good stagger here from Misty Mark will actually delay this push a little bit longer as they're going to have to wait for the Lucio. Junkrat Tire immediately comes in here, which means that most of the team is probably just going to go back to spawn, and that's exactly what they did. They hear the tire out, maybe a little bit more of a doing it a little early, trying to sort of anticipate them coming in, but it's basically just basic bot time for them to just basically get ready, and now here they come. They're going to be pushing very, very hard, knowing that there is no Junkrat Tire available here, so they've got to open up some space. Maywall comes up now and sort of just cut them off.
No Maywall.
Yeah, with no Maywall up, they're going to be able to sort of push it. Ooh, pushed up the Rhine and now sends in the freeze, and now will get the Rhine unless he's able to jump it out. He does jump, he does get Careless though, but not before Misty Mark took out 2, and it looks like they're going to have to back up there. They used a lot there to push them back, but it was pretty good as now they have to sort of reset this fight again.
Yeah, it looked like they had it after pushing in, but that Conch Mine was sort of almost, I don't want to say an accident because it didn't look like it, but it was a 9,000 IQ play if I've ever seen it. Kind of got the Ryan up in the air, and then just as soon as that happened, Careless saw his opening and shattered. And what are you gonna do when your entire team's on the ground to survive?
Yeah. That's exactly right, and now they've gone to the pharmacy here as Godslayer now onto the Pharah, realizing that the only sort of hit scan player that they're going to have to deal with is the Ana. So sort of Graviton actually catches get on the back here as Lokud actually takes out 2 after a flanking Zarya ult takes down a couple on the support line here, as the advantage now going back here to the attackers as Godslayer takes out 3 now, as it looks like, oh, a charge comes in, prevents the Transcendence from actually healing anybody, and that's going to be that. My goodness, a lot of stuff happening there as a flanking Graviton was able to sort of catch people out, and unfortunately here the point will go to the Pachimari Ninjas.
Yeah, eventually they found the weakness of that comp where they didn't really have anything to deal with Pharah, so they switched Pharah. And what are you gonna do against it when you have a Junkrat and a Mei?
Yeah.
You really can't. So they were very able to exploit that comp once they sort of realized what they needed to do.
Yeah, Misty Mark here going to a Pharah himself, so he's going to try to take a duel here, but the difference is Drex is on the Mercy here, so Godslayer will have a little bit of an advantage here with no Mercy on the other side. Misty Mark is basically firing rockets, but he does get the kill that he needs, as Ionis goes down there into the backline, it was his job to try to take him out, unfortunately unable to do so, as Careless now pushing up to try to make sure that he stops any movement here of the payload, trying to maybe catch it here under the archway, but not going to be able to do so as spam damage just coming in. Fear now coming out into the area, as it looks like Ionis here finally spawning back, and now they're going to start their attack here. Fear, showing no fear, gets caught there in the back. Earthshatter comes in, but it looks like it was Careless who actually got slept, but Fear not getting anything with that shatter is still delayed here as they're sort of coming through. MJ Coleman takes out Godslayer, and it looks like here the Pachimari is having a real hard time trying to even make any space for themselves. Though it looks like a nanoed Fear here driving deep into the backline, who gets purpled and immediately killed. Good stuff there, good recognition by the Ana. The Ducks on the side of the Omegahounds here, and now it looks like the Ninjas are going to have to back up again. 154 on the clock. They've been doing really well, sort of killing the time here up in the up on this section of the map.
Yeah, we kind of do see both players getting way ahead of their teams are getting picked, but because they have Drex on Mercy there, it's not really going to matter a whole lot for Ninjas.
Oh, it looks like a Graviton comes in, but Transcendence comes in to counter that. So no real kills, but now the kills are starting to come in as Lokut and it looks like MJ Coleman goes down. And now it looks like with Bob out on the field, going to guard from any of the flanks, and slowly but surely, the Omegahounds are losing every little fight here. As Quizzy, it looks like Quizzy is on the field trying to sort of survive as best as they can. He's got to be careful about getting staggered. Out. Yeah, he got out. You don't want to get staggered at that point because you need to fight on point B and not let them have it. As they're trying to sort of gather up here, they're going to be able to sort of come back, and this is where the fight is going to be. They've got to get there fast and not give it up to him. Unfortunately, they do. They decided not to go after it, and now it looks like Godslayer will take two, and they do have the advantage up here, as Pachimari Ninjas are going to try to press this advantage. Now, with the point B advantage of the spawn, 2 minutes on the clock, they're trying to do their best to actually get as much space as they can. They're going to bring the payload here around the first corner, and the engage is probably going to have to happen here around the second corner, and that's more space than I would have wanted to give up here if I am the Omegahounds. Omegahounds finally going to have to push in. Careless here has got to be careful. He's been the first one down in a lot of these fights, so he's got to be careful. Here comes the Graviton. High Noon actually being blown also. Does not get anybody, but Nano Fear, he's going to stay alive here, and the advantage is going to be with him as he's going to try to take out that front line here of Lokut and Careless. Finally, they're going to have to get backed up as Mistymerks takes out Ionis again. 1:37 here left on the clock, and finally the Pachimaris have to give up space. Careless has got to be careful. He doesn't want to get caught up too far high.
Yeah, it looks like they're trying to blow everything to almost get back into spawn right now as the Ninjas, but they do get Taeon eventually before they can quite get in. They really need to be hiding in the spawn right now so that they don't keep getting these picks like this. Just here, please. But it looks like both teams are starting to regroup and give each other a little bit more recognition now as they come out with a slightly new comp. They're swapping the FAR for the Genji.
Yeah, it looks like Coach Taeon here is going to be ready here with the Graviton, so he's going to be looking for it to see where it's going to be. Big grenade here, catches the front line as Spirit gets slept also. Zadok's been very impressive here. Oh, Mistymerk flanking from the back, gets Ionis again, who has been his favorite target here. Into the back, the Shatter gets blocked by Careless, who was bubbled. Fantastic, takes him down. And again, it looks like the Pachimari is stalled there on the second corner with only 30 seconds left to go.
But you do see Godslayer coming out right now. He's 74% to his Dragon Blade, and they have the Graviton. So it really looks like they're right now trying to get the Nano Blade Graviton to sort of clean up a fight and push this all the way to the end.
Mistymerk switching over to the Genji here, and Earthshatter comes in, catches Coach Taeon. They're going to finish him off. He has not been able to get his Graviton out with only 16 seconds left to go. Those were big kills. Who is this guy? Yells the chat. Lokut actually coming in, traps them into the payload. There's not going to be able to do. Great Graviton's not going to allow them to get onto the point. 1.7 seconds left onto the point. That's going to be done, and that is that. Great use of the counter Graviton to not allow them into the spawn. And Coach Taeon, my goodness, he had held on and held it and held it and held it and was just unable to use it as he got killed before he could actually execute any grab there at the end.
Yeah, it looked like got so close to pulling off that combo, but it was just a little too aggressive. Got caught up front before the Genji had Blade and then got shattered. And there's it's in the realm of the only thing you can really do there is check your positioning before a fight, but we see the Hound cycling ult so well, so it's going to be very hard for them to break into that third point anyway, just because of how well they're only using 1 or 2 ults every single time to stall them, and they always had 1 or 2 ults for the next fight and for the next fight, and they really need a big standout play to get through that, and it just wasn't coming from what they had.
Yep, and it looks like here they aren't able to complete. So that is a huge positive here from the Omegahounds, as now they will be going on to the offense here. And Zadox, I've got to sort of pull out a little bit of a kudos to the support there, getting some key sleeps and great grenades there to sort of make sure that the fight went their way and allowed Careless to be as aggressive as he was. When your tank is pushing in and he's purple and there's just nothing, no healing coming through, you've got that advantage. You've got to take it. And Careless being aggressive as he was able to take that advantage against Fear and allow him to be as sort of aggressive as he was, and he was winning fights off of that. So I got to give a kudos to Zadox here on the side of the Omegahounds, and now it looks like they're going to be flanking through Hotel and charging right on into the back. So there they come. They're just going to fight here into the back, as Fear is actually into the back, trying to be as aggressive as possible, trying to just sort of swing away, as Lokut and Quizzy trying to sort of boop them away and try to make some points here. MJ Coleman is sort of flanked around, trying to see if he can get some free shots on the other side of the Hotel. No kills yet coming from either side, and just as I say that, Careless goes down, and so do two of the other members here from the Omegahounds, and down they go. And this is going to be that, as it looks like the Pachimaris are going to be able to hold here.
I wonder if they do know that Misty Merc is all the way behind them, because he was kind of running around that fight. There was a good sleep onto Ionis there. They kind of just woke him up with a Luke Shuriken instead of setting up any sort of insta-kill combo. So they probably know he's somewhere in the back, but not exactly sure where.
Yeah, you can see him sort of running around, trying to, I think what he's doing is he's hunting the Widow, trying to see where the Widow is as we're riding with him now. It doesn't look like he's found her yet, as the rest of the push there is sort of stalling. You can see him sneaking. He's right there around the corner.
He knows it's there.
He knows it's there. Here he comes. Boom! What's he doing? Can he finish her up? Oh, down she goes! And here comes the rest of the fight, and down go the Pachimaris, as Misty Merc gets the kill that he was looking for. Coach Taeyeon gets one, but it's going to be a fight win here for the Omegahounds. Oh my goodness, sneaky Genji there. You called it. They didn't know that the Genji was snuck behind. They thought they had wiped out the team.
Yeah, it looks like they're caught off guard. And since they got point A, this sort of brings us to the realm of the winning box, the golden box of victory, the win box, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Very, very shallow into C. It's not very close to the end. So this puts them in a very easy spot to win this game. Like, it is not easy by any means to get through, but they have plenty of time to get where they need to be.
Oh, and it's an ult Fiesta here at the first corner that ends up being won here by the Pachimari Ninjas, as you saw a grab, a dragon, two Earthshatters come out, and no kills on the side of Omegahounds. They were able to sort of hold off against all of it, and now they've actually made all of the Omegahounds use all of their ults here, and it's going to be tough sledding here through the streets phases. They are ready to sort of push again, but with really only like the Blade and the Lucio ult, they're going to have to be super careful here. But they're actually making up some space here. Rally comes out here on the side of the Pachimari Ninjas, and a great grenade again is going to catch Fear. They've got to be aggressive on it and push on him and try to see if they can save him, but instead looks like here they do keep him alive, so no losing of the Reinhardt there. Everybody gets caught in the Graviton. Great Lucio ult there will keep everybody alive, as MJ Coleman takes down two members of the Pachimari Ninjas. Now it's only, remember, Coach Taeyeon coming in, and they wipe them out and are going to get more push here through the streets phase onto point B.
Yeah, and it looks like they're going to have one more fight potentially on point if they're able to regroup close enough and get there in time, which they should be able to. So it's not a clean victory yet. They do have a Sonic Arrow, so they know who's coming and where. And Misty Merc still have the double Shimada special to get Dragon Bite and the Dragon Strike just to clear them out at this point. So they use these well, they should be able to just clean up pretty quickly.
Yeah, a High Noon coming here from Ionis, trying to see if he can get anybody here in the background. They're sort of a Fury of Fear here. Misty Merc gets a reflect kill onto Ionis, so there goes that High Noon back. Did not work in their favor, but 2 kills here on the side of the Pachimaris is going to force back the Omegahounds here. Unfortunately, they were not going to be able to do anything. Misty Merc still holding onto that Dragon Blade. He got killed relatively early, right after he had reflected that High Noon. Unfortunately, it's just not going to be here. So now, 2:19 here on the clock. They have the Grav Dragon and the Blade available. This should be a win here for the Omegahounds if they use these ults properly.
Yeah, the double Shimada plus Dragon Strike, or plus the Graviton, should really be an easy fight win. Had they used the DPS sort of fell victim to what I like to call play of the gameitis, and they were both hunting for kills with theirs instead of trying to make space. And it really kind of cost them the free point B there.
Well, Graviton here coming in from Coach Taeyeon. He takes out 4, and down go the Omegahounds again, but they had to blow everything there. 141 here, that was actually relatively quick. So when you're talking about ult advantage in this particular case, you saw them sort of just blow everything for that defense. You sort of want to be careful about when you use all of your ults on one side, and right there's a lot of time remaining here for the Omegahounds to sort of push through, and now they have a serious ult advantage. It's like a 4v1 ult advantage that they have. If they are able to win this fight without using very many ults, there's a possibility they could literally snowball through, but Fear going in deep here, trying to see if he can get Careless down. He does, and that's a huge shatter. They use that one ult to push back the rest of the Omegahounds here, and now it's going to be desperation time. They do have a crazy ult advantage, but you can't do anything if you don't use it.
Yeah, they've had this ult advantage for the last couple of fights, but they're really scared of like using their abilities, which is unfortunate because it definitely happens to people. But if you're holding onto a Graviton, just like Coach Taeyeon was on attack, you're going to run these situations where you're like, well, how do we break through? And you kind of have to use your ults to break through if you want to make space and get kills. You can't just all hold on to them at the same time.
And they finally use the Graviton here. They catch Coach Taeyeon and 2 other members. Finally, they get them all down. As Careless is asleep in the back, it's only going to be the McCree left on point. They do end up using pretty much everything there. So now it is going to only be Quizzy B here with the Lucio ult. They're not going to be able to make it back in time. If I'm them, I try to push. Make sure you get that minute 30, and that's where the golden box of victory is. Misty Mercure trying to sort of see if he can get any kills before they actually capture the point. They do not, but they've already actually made some space for themselves here. They do need a kill here to make it a little bit easier for themselves. You said it was shallow. That is relatively right there. So now it looks like, oh, and Solve goes down. Big kill here. No mercy. No Ana into the back. Another Graviton here by Coach Taeyeon, but it's really too close to the payload, so that charge is not really going to do anything. All the kills have been going the way here of the Omegahounds here. They got to kill the Lucio. Golden box of victory right there. Will they get their first win of this map? Of this match? It looks like unless they can get there in time, Fear gets here on the Wrecking Ball, is going to be able to stop him, and Wrecking Ball is an annoying character to kill. They got to get Fear down super quick. They absolutely do so. Great job by them. Dragon now comes in, probably will come through the point here to clear anybody out. They're going to be able to do so. Oh, big shatter catches Godslayer before he touches the point, but it's still stalling up, and that's finally going to be that. Omegahounds had to fight for every inch, but they end up finally getting it, and now this match is now Alrighty, folks, welcome back. That was halftime. You enjoyed the voices of Coach Nerd and Coach Vol for the Omegahounds. Post-game interview will be with the coach of the Pachimari Ninjas, Paradox PN. He will be joining us here after the match is over, win or lose on the Pachimari side. So it will be a post-game coach interview where we will recap the scores, figure out what the teams did right or wrong, and we'll have input from one of the coaches from the Pachimari Ninjas. So stay tuned for post-game festivities with Pulse and myself, Hotohori. In the meantime, welcome to Ilios. The score of the game now, Pachimari Ninjas 2, Omegahounds 1. Pulse, Omegahounds sounding very positive going into Ilios here. What do you think you're going to end up seeing in this map between the two teams?
I mean, they had every reason to be positive. They finished King's Row. It was kind of close, but they definitely had a lot of time. They had a really good defense in Point C, and we see another hybrid map coming up. So if hybrid's their specialty, then they're in for a treat this half. We really haven't seen any control, so we don't know how this goes. But if this goes pretty one-sided, I think that'll determine who we're looking at to win this map.
Yeah, and it looks like here they're going as a solid sort of dive here on the side of the Ninjas, as they're going to be somewhat aggressive, as it looks like it's sort of a static comp here. Ryan Zarya coming in from the other side here on the Omegahounds, who will be in red for this map, and it looks like trades on both sides as they both go down 5v5. Godslayer getting a kill on Zadox here, who the coaches were actually saying was a very, very important flex player here for the Omegahounds. So now it looks like control here going to the side here of the Pachimari Ninjas. They're going to get control. Coach Hayon got demech, but they're going to take the initial point A here.
Yeah, Godslayer with the dash resets for days there just kept picking up kill after kill and dashing into the next one. So a really good Genji play. We saw the dive setup actually quite phenomenal. S-Love was a little bit out of position, got picked off first because of it, but just the Winston Diva, everything about it, just cleaning them up was really too much for the Hounds to do anything about there.
Yeah, Ninjas here
coming in though for the Omegahounds. So now they have the Reaper, now they have the Hog. We might see a little bit of different approach here as they kind of make their way to point.
Yeah, it looks like they're trying to sort of sneak through the building and try to sort of get into the point with this sort of heavier lineup that they're sort of running. Lokut there is going to get booped. He's going to try to see if he can get anyone, but Slove got 2 with that, and all the kills now going to the way of the Pachimari Ninjas. They're looking very good at controlling this point right here. They've only had to use a Winston ult, as it looks like the Reaper's coming in, trying to see if they can deal with this heavy lineup, with this sort of dive lineup, but nothing doing here, and already at 50%.
Well, if they didn't have it before, S-Love now has the Floor's Lava achievement, because that was 3 boop kills that fight. 2 as they were walking the point, and 1 to clean up. And if you're going to play on the point, Lucio's just going to keep doing that all day. So now they're kind of realizing and adjusting their approach for the next fight.
Yeah, they realized that you can't approach that way with a Lucio on the field, and they realized that error. But it looks like a 1v1 trade here as Godslayer went in deep, took out the soldier, but took himself out in the process. So now it looks like there's an ult coming out on the other side, as it looks like Giannis on his soldier trying to see if he can nail down anybody on the side of the Omegahounds here, and they are getting the kills. MJ Coleman here trying to wrap around back, trying to see if he can catch Coach Taeon. Unfortunately, it's not going to happen with a lot of that fire coming in from the soldier in the rear. We're at 88% here, and the Pachimari Ninjas here with a very controlling. Here comes the ult here from Godslayer, trying to see if he can get anybody who's running to the point to make sure that they can see if they can sort of at least get a little bit of control. Down goes Godslayer though, eventually to the fire strike from Putzpah. But it is Fear here, ulting onto the point, trying to see if he can sort of move out the tanks and sort of see if he can get anybody on the point. The kills have been going the way of the Pachimari Ninjas, and oh, looks like off goes the Roadhog. Lokut not going to be able to do anything about that. To overtime starting to tick down. Reaper coming in. He's going to ult, but he's not going to be able to get anyone as Godslayer's able to reflect, and the shield goes up for Fear, and that's going to probably be that. It's going to be just a matter of time as MJ Coleman goes down, and it is 100-0 for the Pachimari Ninjas.
That was very decisive. It looks like we finally see the Ninjas playing some heroes that they really want to play, especially on control, because there was just a lot of boop kills from S-Love, there was a lot of dash resets from Godslayer, so everyone looks from the Ninjas to be much more comfortable on their current heroes than some of the other strategies we've seen all night, especially when they were running goats. It's a lot more intense from them. They've been pulling out a lot more heat.
Yeah, they looked very, very comfortable in what they were running there. So now Pachimari Ninjas up 1-0 as we go into a weird Ilios map. When we go into Ruins, you have this crazy pit in the middle, and it allows for various amounts of configurations, but it looks like Ionis is going to take up the mantle of the Widow, which we do see a lot of the times on this map where the Widow will go for a pick, and then it's just a matter of time of just sort of charging in. So they're going to look for maybe a pick and to sort of dive on somebody on the other side. It looks like Chutzpah has gone to the Winston here and will not be playing the Reinhardt, so they are going like sort of like a half dive, but there's no Diva player on the other side with a big grenade there. Catches Coach Taeon, but they do sort of back up, but they've decided to sort of engage here into the back. Fear takes out Zadox, which is a very, very big kill. Lokut actually DMX Coach Taeon here as we're sort of looking around at Slow, and Misty Merc sort of trade at it, and Misty Merc on the wrong side of that fight, as it looks like it's just a matter of time here, and it looks like Pachimari Ninjas again will get point A capture.
Yeah, both teams had trouble sort of opening up that fight until Zadox got a really big purple. But everyone just kind of split up and noped away, and it was really hard to chase down the 2 supports as they were pocket healing, and the 2 tanks had enough health and not enough focus fire at them to take someone down and then sort of retreat back for heals and health packs.
Yeah, and it looks like here they're getting ready to engage as Omegahounds already in position as they are stuck behind the pillars, but they are immediately engaged upon it, and it looks like a blade immediately comes out here from Godslayer as he's looking for targets, trying to see if he can get the Winston here, and down they go, and all the kills go to the Pachimari Ninjas. Omegahounds here getting wiped out.
It was kind of funny in that blade. You saw the Lucio do the traditional boop switch to speed, But the people kept running away to just led the Genji to get more kills. He like backed up first into the other support, so you gotta be careful as the Lucio there, knowing where is safe to back up to after you beat the Genji. Because he kept just sort of walking around finding kills and resets accidentally.
And this is very interesting, as it looks like the ninjas back up completely. Ionis gets a kill on Zadox. They actually just gave up the point and retreated when they lost a player due to Misty Merc, and Misty Merc takes out Ionis again. Now they're down again. I've never actually seen a team fully retreat and just sort of give up the point like that, but a bomb now coming into the middle will actually take out Lookout, and now it looks like they're going to be able to finish off Hootspa here onto the point. There is a Mei trying to sort of freeze Coach Taeyeon, but that's going to be that, and immediately they give it up. I think they gave up pretty much 26% for free here to the Omegahounds, but in the end, I think it's going to end up being a reset here, and Pachimari Ninjas get control of the point again.
Yeah, they backed up, I think, to try and reset for a fight after the pick happened. Just to try and regroup and take it without giving up much percent, which they ended up doing, because 28 in the long run is not a large amount of percent. So that's my best guess, is sort of how they were deciding to play that.
So an engage actually comes in, and Lookout here with a Graviton. So it looks like the rest of the ninjas have sort of bailed out. Lucio ult actually comes in, will save Coach Taeyeon, who got frozen. And now the freeze coming in from the Mei onto the point, but it's on the far side of the point, so it's not really going to catch anybody as the engage continues here. Coach Taeyeon getting frozen and just being the focus of the attack here of the Omegahounds. They're trying to sort of get him down. They know they need to win this map to take it to a third map, but they still haven't given it up at 99%. I think the Pachimari Ninjas are happy to just sort of give it up, reset, and see if they can win it on the next fight.
Yeah, they call it a reset because that was a very distinctive Winston jump to get back to spawn. But they have really nothing to worry about. They need one more fight win. They're coming in with the Genji Blade, which the Genji's been doing stellar. We've seen a lot of big plays from Godslayer, and they're also coming in with a Valkyrie. So trying to kill a Valkyrie Genji is not an easy task.
Yeah, and it looks like here we're going to be riding with Godslayer because we're going to anticipate this blade going to be coming out soon. He does get shot by the Ana here, and he's going to try to get frozen. He's trying to get away, but he gets caught in a Graviton, so that's going to prevent him from using his ult, and a great play here from the Omegahounds catches the rest of the Pachimari Ninjas. They do lure out a big Graviton ult there, so now nothing really to sort of prevent Godslayer from doing the business here later on.
Yeah, they have to worry about Sound Bearer, and that's really the only thing coming out. Possibly a Winston ult, depending on how fast they engage with this. Like, there's a possibility if we see Hugspa get some good charge here, he can ult and deflect the Genji around, but we already see the dash resets coming out.
Yeah, and exactly. They're trying to get him down. They know he's got it. They just want to be super, super careful. Here comes the Blade as he's trying to sort of get as any targets that he can. Gets through Lucio. He's going after the Winston now. The Winston's ulting to save his life. We're at 94% here, as it looks like the advantage here will be with the Pachimari Ninjas. They just need to clear out the point and kill this ulting Winston. Overtime starting to tick down. Wrecking ball on here by Lookout, and he's trying to sort of hold out this point as best as he can. Godslayer takes out Zadox here, and it is just going to be a Lucio ult on the point. The Lookout back again. The bomb actually got sent into the far corner, thinking that they had dealt with the Hammond, but now big Mei ult here is going to freeze Eslov, and he gets taken out, but Coach Taeyeon takes out Lookout, but the fight is slowly but surely, it's turning the way of the Omegahounds. They're trying to see if they can win this out. Omegahounds have got to be careful. They've got to stay on the point, or overtime's going to tick down too fast before they're going to be able to get back onto the point. And now 5v1 here, and it is Boostio on the field trying to stall as best as he can, gets booped away, and here comes Lookout again on the hamster. He's able to sort of make it back, and they're just trying to sort of make sure they get everybody left on the point. Lookout here's got to stay on there, but the kills still keep going the way of the Pachimari Ninjas. He actually got the mines out, so they've got to be super careful. He can't avoid and jump out here. He's got to sort of stay on the point. Godslayer took out two as people were starting to come in. The stagger resets here are going to sort of come to kick in. Lookout, they can't kill him. He's still on the point. Finally, down he goes, but it looks like the Lucio is finally back on the point to keep the stall going. He does not want to die. The point is turning, and finally overtime is going to tick down super fast, and that is going to be that. The Pachimari Ninjas take down Omegahounds here on Ilios 2-0. As we go into Eichenwald, and it will be the Omegahounds here on offense first. They were able to defend first here on King's Row. So now they have the unfortunate disadvantage of going first. But if they're able to sort of set the tone and maybe get a decent time back onto Eichenwald, it will put extreme pressure on the Pachimari Ninjas not to just finish, but to finish with time.
Yeah, it's also something that you see a lot with these hybrid maps where point A, you're probably not going to hold. There's a chance, depending on your hold, how unique it is, how much people can play against it or can't play against it. Point B is one of almost on every single hybrid map is one of those ones that you kind of can get steamrolled towards the end. Like you probably won't hold early on and there's a chance for a steamroll, but if you get held at B, it can cut up a lot of time. And then point C is almost uncappable if teams are equal skills because it's just so close to defend your spawn. It's so narrow in a lot of cases where you're forced to run like big shields or like certain comps because of how like much closer together the corridors are. It might be harder to flanks, things like that, get behind, get in position. And that's something sort of with a lot of hybrid maps. And if we see them play like they did in King's Row and sort of use that map style to their advantage, then it could very much play out the same way.
And it looks like here the Omegahounds going in with a Goats comp to start off with. Look at this, they're going Zen Goats to start off. And my goodness, I think this is the first time we've actually seen this happen from them. So
definitely Zen Goats from them today.
Yeah, so here they come, and they got naded here. So a couple of people got hit with a really big nade here, but they've able to sort of compensate, and now are just going to be fighting on the point here. Hyenas takes down MJ Coleman, who was on the Divas. So down goes Chutzpah too. So it looks like the Goats comp not working here, though they do get a kill on Coach Taeyeon. That could be a big kill. Oh, it's turning around, and it looks like all the kills now going the way of the Omegahounds as they're able to recover. They lose 2 people early, but that's going to be that. They recover relatively quickly and will take point A.
Yeah, they were down in players at the beginning of that, but you still have to be careful. You saw Godslayer and Ionis just sort of jump back down, lose their high ground advantage, and try and fight into the Zarya Brig, which is very dangerous. So by giving up that positioning when they thought they were ahead, they sort of just got rolled by the rest of the Goats that they didn't take down. So you have to still really be careful about that. Then it's part of the reason why a lot of people hate it is because you can't always press your advantages in the same way that you would the normal dive or 2-2-2 comp.
Yeah, that's absolutely right here. As now they're trying to sort of take advantage of this comp by putting Godslayer in the air with the Pharah, and it does take out MJ Coleman, mech and all. Iona's taking out Chutzpah, and they're going to sort of stop them here. Graviton actually used, which forces out the trance from Quizzy there. So unfortunate use of the trance there, but also possibly an unfortunate use of the Graviton at the same time. But they're going to keep engaging here as Godslayer takes out Zadox on the Lucio. But in the end here, the advantage will end up going to the Omegahounds here as they're able to sort of push the payload a little more. MJ Coleman goes back down to Fear, but they're actually sort of uneven here as a Graviton now used on the other side, and all the kills now being put in here by the Pachimari Ninjas. They've just gonna wipe out Lookout, and that is going to be that. Only a little bit of a push and ults coming out all over the place, but Omegahounds here still have a 3-2 advantage. And no, actually, it is going to be even between the 2 teams.
Yeah, we saw Godslayer kind of go on this weird flank over the building when the rest of the team was backed up, so he was kind of left to die. But that's something that you can't. It was a little bit of a misplay by Godslayer because of it. Like, you have to be careful about those pushing in. But thankfully, Ionis had the big high noon there and was just able to chunk down the rest of the team to make it an even fight.
Yeah, and it looks like here we're going to be riding with Godslayer. He's got his barrage, and he's going to be looking for a target here. Down goes the Diva. This might be the opening that he's looking for. There he goes, right into the Graviton, and down they go. Godslayer with a huge 4K. Make that 5, and he wipes out the remaining members of the Omegahounds. Team kill is called, and my goodness, Pachimari Ninja is looking good here through the second streets phase.
Yeah, this is sort of what we were talking about earlier with Coach Taeyeon on Anubis and even King's Row, where a little bit less on King's Row because he held Graviton for so long, but we see him having these big ults every fight or every other fight. And when you're not sort of accounting for it or taking it into mind and playing around it, it's going to just wipe you every single time.
Yeah, Diva Bomb here at the top to just try to stall the members of the Pachimari Ninja. High Noon coming out here. Doesn't look like it's going to be able to catch anybody. Hutzpah's got to be super careful. He's super low. Gonna get healed up here as Ionis in the back was trying to deal with the tanks. Missing Mark takes out Fear, so they lose their tank on the other side as they're trying to sort of isolate the members who are flanking on the side of the Pachimari Ninjas. Ninjas are all over the place. They're sort of spread out. Godslayer is in the air. They've got people in front of them. They've got people in back, and Omegahounds are sort of trapped between a rock and a hard place. They've got to get some kills here and wipe out one of the sections. Big charge comes in here onto Fear, and our Earth Shatter will get blocked, but actually catches Zadok, but who's going to be able to get away. Transcendence comes out, and the rest of the team going to be running towards it. Fear gets, Fear looks like gets nano boosted here, but is not going to be able to kill anything. He's trapped among 4 people. Godslayer trying to see if he can get anybody, only gets MJ Coleman, but the fight is actually now turned to the side of the Pachimari Ninjas as they were so low they did not have any healing left. It looks like Lokut and the rest of the Omegahounds though are able to survive, and they're able to push this payload closer to the door.
Oh, but we see Drex get out. That was a huge play. They weren't able to finish him off and weren't really paying attention to where the Mercy was. He was able to res Godslayer because of it.
Yeah, Graviton here at the door will actually prevent people from coming out. It only leaves Kachtaeon and Fear here at the door as a charge comes in here from Hutzpah, and a immediate Earthshatter comes in, and now Godslayer trying to do what he can to take anybody on the ground. He's trying to rocket anybody he can. He's under the bridge. He's got to be careful. He's out of boost. Uh-oh, he boosted into the ground, and that's going to be that.
I honestly think that was probably for the best though, because at that point they already kept point, and you want to regroup with your team as fast as possible. Possibly even switch to a Junkrat because it's now point C and it has a roof now, so you can't fly high in the sky like you'd want to with the Pharah.
Well, he's going to stay. It looks like he's still staying on the Pharah there as he's coming back out. I don't know if that was strategic or if it was not. MJ Coleman sending the bomb into a great place, gets 3. Huge kill here by MJ Coleman as he's going to try to see if he can wipe out the rest of the team and give them a great time here on Eichenwald. Huge bomb coming in. Will anybody be able to contest? They've got max people onto the payload, pushing out Drex, and they're going to finish it. Great job here by the Omegahounds as they complete Eichenwald with over 2 minutes on the clock remaining.
0-3.
Yeah, they were just able to completely steamroll through C with that big Diva Bomb. They got it right around that corner. That's the Overwatch League spot where you want to put it every single time so you can't hide behind that little sort of alcove.
Yes.
And they just placed it perfectly.
Yes, cubbyhole here, not the place you want to hide if a Diva Bomb comes in, because there's really no way up the stairs. You have to climb this little thing, try to get up there and see if you can actually hide behind this pillar, but most of the time you're panicking because there's a bomb ticking down right in your face. So unfortunately, for the Pachimaris, put up a pretty stout defense, but unable to hold them. They give up 2 minutes and change here on the clock, and now the Pachimaris need to finish out Hybrid in order to make sure that they do not give up another point here to the Omegahounds. They want to basically complete with over a minute left on the clock, which will allow them basically a redo on this map, but with only what is remaining in the time bank. It'll be interesting to see what they come out with, but it looks like it'll be an Ana Goats comp here. But no, Fear actually is going to modify. This is sort of a monkey goats, right? But looks like some more changes. Godslayer going to the jungle.
Yeah. This is a variant. It's just like Winston goats normally, and it's kind of weird because it's not like a direct variation. Oh no, now they're going to pure Ana goats, and what Ana goats is really strong against is mortar goats. So if you're able to press advantages of the nade very well, especially on a team with heroes like Orion, Zarya, get a big nade. Whoever doesn't get bubbled should die, and just take advantage of that.
But on defense here, they had a wall come up as there was a Mei playing on the other side to sort of prevent them from coming in from certain locations. And MJ Coleman, great wall, prevents them from sort of charging in, split the team, and down they go. Only a 30-second push there, but they've had to reset right away. Good job here by the Omegahounds on the first part of the defense.
See, they reset right away, but they also instantly make the swap with Pharah. Godslayer's been playing Pharah pretty decently all night. I would have liked to see a Mercy swap or maybe even a Zen swap from the Ana, but that's not completely necessary playing into this.
Yeah, so they've got to be super, super careful here. Misty Merc here on the Hanzo, trying to see if he can deal with any of the damage, or maybe see if he can get anybody in the range. So Dox actually takes down Fear, so they do lose their main tank as it's a nano-boosted Ryan here, taking out Coach Taeon too. They do blow that big nano boost, but it is worth it as they are forcing the rest of the Pachimaris back in spawn. Looking like they're having the same issues as they had on King's Row here, just unable to sort of break that initial choke.
Yeah, and it's kind of weird because both teams were able to break the initial choke pretty fast on King's Row, but I think it's definitely a part of just not dealing with the Mei walls fast enough. And if they're having troubles with Mei, the first thing to always do is just say, screw it, swap to Winston, jump over the wall. But if they're wanting to stick with this for future pushes, I could see them staying on Ryan. They might be playing for ults, but we see ults match pretty much between both teams in every fight.
Yeah, as they try to grab Dragon there again, and now a counter grab comes in, as it looks like they're trying to see if they can trap him in there. The Transcendence actually comes out and will save the team. There was a nade that went in there, but just not enough DPS to actually push him out. The kills here in the advantage of the Omegahounds, as the Omegahounds actually are going to end up pushing the Pachimari Ninjas back. 2 minutes here left on the clock. They've done a really, really good job here stalling for time, as the engage is going to happen right away here. It looks like they're just sort of holding behind the corner, waiting for their Lucio to come in, and they're going to try to sort of speed boost through. And here they come. Here comes Fear and Coach Taeon here trying to charge in, and a big charge here comes in with a wall into the back, and Chutzpah getting 2 big kills as another Graviton comes in and Ionis goes down, and great defending here from the Omegahounds as they're able to stall up the Ninjas again.
Yeah. At this point, I think really what they're playing for has to be the Shatter plus Barrage. But again, they have to be careful with it because you look at the other side, they have a Mei freeze and also Shatter. So if either Ryan chickens out and doesn't put their shield up, or gets baited and puts their shield down for a second, then this fight can go either way. But if both teams blow it, then we might see the Ninjas here on their last leg.
Yeah, as it looks like here, Godslayer did go for the barrage, and he got it. We didn't get it on cam. Unfortunately, he wiped out 3 as the defense starting to fall. We were focused on the Diva Bomb on the side. That was a debate as they used that to open up Godslayer flanking from the right side, and he takes down most of the players from Omegahounds, and they do capture point A.
They get point A, but they're still down 3 minutes from that first. So this is by no means one person's game right now, and it could very easily still be a win for the Omegahounds, which is what they're looking for. They got far enough into the C, cap C. So now they're really at this point playing to win, but even if they don't win, you're still going to win with the time advantage. Pretty hefty one too, even.
Yeah, and it looks like here, Godslayer here is just sort of hanging out on the side, just trying to see if he can draw the attention of the rest of the players while the payload moves with 5 people. So they're trying to sort of rush it around and get it around the first corner, and they're trying to get them worried about Godslayer possibly appearing behind them. Graviton gets caught up here again as a wall comes up. Transcendence gets blown here too by the Omegahounds, making sure that they are extra, extra safe. Godslayer didn't have the barrage up yet, so they weren't able to...
the Mei ult right into the Diva's face.
Yeah. So there looks like the Mei ult is gone, so no defensive Mei ult here, as there is the ult here from Godslayer, and again he gets 2, and you see them go down, and it has been a very fruitful part B push here from the Pachimari Ninjas. They've been doing a good job here trying to push through this area to make up some ground.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to try and come out and stall this point B as long as they can, because we see the Mei switch to Soldier, and Mei's actually pretty good on point C. Like, not the best, but I wouldn't say the worst by any means. So we might see some plays where they're trying to hold this and try and stall it at point B as long as possible to give them the biggest time advantage.
Oh, great counter shatter here by Chutzpah as he charges in and takes out Fear. This is not the opening that they wanted. Ionis actually takes out MJ Coleman, but the rest of the team going down like flies as Misty Merc takes down 2 people there at the very end, and it's going to be a hold here with 1:30 left on the clock. They've got to be super careful.
Yeah, and again, if they cap it right this second, that would still only mean 3 minutes on the clock. So that's not going to happen. And at this point, you have to be pretty happy if you're the Omegahounds, because you're coming into this point C, potentially even a map win right here at point B with a huge time advantage. We do see Godslayer swap over to Genji, so it looks like they're going to try and use this last minute to farm up a blade or some big blade of abuse.
Yeah, bomb gets sent in by Coach Taeon, who actually sent the bomb in and then dropped into the hole. So it was it was pretty much a suicide bomb there, ha ha ha. But it looks like here they're not going to be able to sort of engage on anything there, as the rest of the team has sort of had to fall back. Looks like Chutzpah didn't realize where he was and he fell into the pit. This might be the opening that they might need. He didn't realize he was so close to the opening and fell right in, as it looks like here now they're going to try to push. Ionis actually takes down Misty Merc, and they're going to have a two-man advantage here as they sort of put in. Unbelievable turn of events here as Chutzpah finally comes back as he's trying to sort of trap the rest of the team. Graviton gets caught here into the back as Lecoq trying his best to kill anybody, but down he goes. Chutzpah's left onto the point. They're actually going to cap it with 11 seconds left to go. Minute 30 left on the clock. They still have a chance here.
That was incredible. Like, it started with Coach Taeon falling in the pit, followed by Chutzpah falling in the pit. Then Fear gets nano boosted and almost jumps into the pit. The way I had the camera, it looked like it was just gonna land right in there, and I was just like, Fear, no, what are you doing? But it worked out, so we'll get to see this point C fight and see how they sort of adapt from their team's approach.
Yeah,
I think it's a really good shot for them, because if they can come to this last map, this last control map with some momentum and not completely getting wiped on the Eichenwald, then this has to feel a lot better as a team.
Yes, absolutely. And then they just have to make sure that they can do a really quick point A push, but it doesn't look like they're going to give it to him easy as Quizzy B takes down Godslayer, and the rest of the members of Pachimari have to back up as Chutzpah taking out Taeon there is a big, big kill. 46 seconds left to go. You look at the ult advantage here, and it's 4v1 versus the Omegahounds. They've got to blow everything here, and they need time on the clock here not to give them a free push onto point A.
Yeah, and these are 4 ults that they can really do something. Like, sometimes you see something like Widow come in and blow balls and not do anything, but they have some of the biggest team wipes clearing ults in the world right now.
Yeah, that blade only really got Chutzpah as a bomb gets set behind, and Taeon gets 3 behind the wall, and that is the opening they need. 15 seconds left to go. They're gonna try to race the clock here. They need to make sure that they move that thing as quick as possible. They need any little bit of time left here in order to make sure they give themselves another push. That payload is still moving, but Chutzpah gets back. Wall comes up. The fight is going to go into overtime here. Now they just need to make sure they complete. The fight is back on as the Omegahounds here fighting for the rest of their lives. Ionis takes out Quizzy B as Fear has now gone to the Hammond as another blade comes out here from Missyberg. Earthshatter comes in on the other side. Chutzpah gets taken down. Freeze comes in, and that's going to take down Fear as he's just frozen in the ball, but they can't kill him. He's not dead yet. Everybody else around him is dead, but he's not, and it looks like as he's ulting, they're trying to force him off of the point. They can't get it, and the Pachimari ninjas come up just a little bit short as the Omegahounds take down Eichenwald by the skin of their teeth. 1. Alrighty, folks, welcome back. The break is over. Coaches have had their discussions, and we are, as Sir Alex Ferguson of Manchester United did say, getting into squeaky bum time. You know what that means, Pulse?
I have a feeling I do, but I'm not entirely sure.
This is when your bum starts to clench up. You start to sweat.
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought.
You start to sweat because you're getting a little nervous, because on one side you're trying to make sure you stay in this match and you want to take it to 7, and on the other side you're clenching up because you've had your shot at winning. You sort of goofed it up a little bit by giving it up, and now they have another shot at it, and if they win another map, you've given up 2. So now, and then you would have to play a tiebreaker where anything can happen. So, as we've said, we mentioned this is Lijiang Tower, and we're going to be starting here on the control center. And Pulse, you said this is going to be a very favorable start for anybody with a Mei, and it looks like MJ Coleman here going with the Mei here on control center.
Yeah, this has to be, I think, based on what we've seen from casting today, this has to be the best map for Omegahounds, just because of the comps they've been running. It's still anyone's game, and we know that ninjas are a little bit stronger in control, but this has to be by far the best map for the Hounds.
Yeah, as they're trying their best here, as they're trying to sort of push through. Oh, it looks like Chutzpah actually got taken out. Quizzy B takes out Godslayer, so they lose a support on the other side, but kills looks like favoring the Pachimari ninjas as they're trying to sort of push through and finish off every member of the Omegahounds, as Misty Merc here trying his best to sort of survive on the point, but one Genji versus the world is not going to be able to do it. Chutzpah falls back, and it is initial take here for the Pachimari ninjas.
Yeah, we saw kills coming in pretty much pairs, so there's never a distinct advantage in there until We saw the tank line being the last one standing. Tank line plus Lucio is going to roll over just a couple DPS, so it was a pretty distinct fight by the end of it.
Yeah, and it looks like here they're going to be trying to sort of push right through the front doorway. Misty Merc trying to see if he can get a dash kill through in there. Not going to happen. Graviton actually catches 3 members here of the Omegahounds, and kills now coming all on the side of the Ninjas. They're not going to be able to stop what's coming through, unfortunately, and Ninjas get another good team win.
Yeah, I know I was mentioning the Mei earlier, and I think Mei's still a really good pick for this map, but this is sort of the situation where you want to consider swapping off of it. Mei works really well if you can win the first fight and use the wall to steamroll in this first area where the rovers are. But MJ Coleman hasn't really been able to get to that location on the other side of the map, so it's one of those things where it's hard to say if you want to play for Blizzard or not, but it looks like they're going to play for Blizzard, and at that point, if it doesn't work, they should swap.
Oh, Misty Merc going in deep, gets charged. It looks like he's going to be able to survive here. Nano bladed in, takes out 3 members here of the Pachimari Ninjas. They get the point, but they've already given up 63% here. They have to be aggressive, and I think they're going to try to push up a little bit and hold at their doorway.
Yeah, this is exactly what you want to do with the Mei. And thankfully they were able to save it with the blade, the shatter. So everything that they have at the beginning of the map is going for them now, except they're down 63%. And they kind of just scuffed the first wall a little bit.
Yeah, they just waited just a little too early, and it looks like here momentum now on the side of Pachimari. Big Earth Shatter here, and it's going to catch them into the freeze, as a lot of players are actually caught in it, and it's going to reset Fear here. If it wasn't for the nano boost, he'd be dead already, but he finally goes down, and a good reset here from the side from the Omegahounds, but they lose MJ Coleman. That was the person they needed to keep alive, so the Pachimari Ninja is going to try to press a little bit here, waiting for MJ Coleman to come back. But it's a 4v4 here onto the fight. Graviton comes in from Lakut, and a charge comes in, missed, but it looks like 2 kills were enough. They do lose 2 supports as Godslayer goes down. Chutzpah finishing off Godslayer. Earthshatter comes in now, trying to see if they can turn the advantage around, as Coach Taeon gets 2. My goodness, it's just going back and forth. They've not decided to fight with 6, as Bob comes in now and is going to try to sort of hold the point, and they're going to finally get it back, but they've actually gotten 3% more than what Pachimari Ninjas have.
Yeah, that was an interesting fight, and at any point I feel like the Ninjas could have regrouped, but they just kept going for it. Eventually it worked, but they probably lost a lot more percentage than they needed to in the process. We see a similar situation that came out before where the Ninjas got the first point, their first take, where they come in with a big blade, and it looks like they're going to try and repeat that so they can keep the Mei.
Oh, Misty Merc, no dice this time, as he got stunned, as it looks like the point is actually going to turn really quickly. Everybody got caught in a giant Earth Shatter. Lucio ult now comes out here for the Pachimari Ninjas, as they're trying to sort of hold off this fight. 1v1 trades here going on, as it looks like Chutzpah trying to stay alive. Zadox is the person they lose on their side, and that's a huge loss, as Fear comes in, charging in, finishes off Chutzpah, as it looks like the timer is ticking up. The advantage still here with the Omegahounds, as they're fighting still on the point. Another Earth Shatter comes in. Finally, all the kills coming in as this wall comes up, as MJ Coleman trying his best to sort of stall at this point. They're going to get it all the way up to about 96, which means there's going to only really be 1 fight left. The Omegahounds here are going to be trying to be held at the wall. Somebody's got to run to the point and got to get there, because it's going to slowly start to tick down. Here they come. Graviton actually hit in the back. Misty Merc on the Doomfist will start overtime, and this is the fight, folks. This is going to be it. Lakut actually trying to see if he can get Fear out, but it looks like the Blizzard not going to be able to get hit on point. Overtime takes down, and the Pachimari Ninjas 1 more to the good, and they will be your Rose League champions. Omegahounds gave it a fair shot, getting to 96 and then giving it up there at the very end. Omegahounds going to have a tough time getting through either. It is going to be Night Market here, and my goodness, their backs are up against the wall.
Yeah, I definitely think Night Market is the better map for them based on what we've seen them play. So it's not over yet. Never over until the fat lady sings, as they say. And honestly, this has gotten a lot more intense than it definitely started out being. There's still some issues we see where players like to stream and some weird things happening that we're not quite used to all the time. But I definitely think that both teams are giving it all at this point. I'm really excited to see how this map turns out.
Yeah, this has gotten to be a very, very exciting match as both teams have ramped it up a little bit here, and it's gotten interesting as it looks like both teams are just going to try to scurry onto the point and fight here, but it looks like the Omegahounds got split up. They do get a kill here on Drex, but they lose their main tank, and the advantage here now strictly with the Pachimari Ninjas as they're going to be pushing off the rest of the members of the Omegahounds. It's just going to be just go for the full reset here as you need to make sure that you re-attacking a 6.
Yeah, they definitely want to make sure that they're not streaming. That was the biggest issue we saw from both teams last fight, and I sort of called it out at the beginning, a little bit at the beginning, and especially since you're running goats. Goats cannot win when they're down 1, and that's just like the biggest issue and a lot of the things that people hate about goats. So they're coming in a 6, and we see a big fight about that.
Yeah, right here on point. Mr. Merc here on the Brigade, trying to see if they can get Fear down, but Fear actually takes 2 players out. So down goes the front line here, and down go the Omegahounds. It's starting to get a little bit nervous time here. There's 2 straight fights here, and ults will be coming up soon. Coach Taeyeon glowing like a Christmas tree as he's trying to kill anybody coming out of spawn and going for huge staggers here. Big Earthshatter committed into the background there, and Taeyeon gets 2 kills that he wanted, and now it's looking like pretty desperate times coming up here for the Omegahounds.
Yeah, especially with 50% on the clock right now, or 50% on the point progress. You got to be rethinking your strategy a little bit. They're sort of still making the same issues, but we see Misty Merc doing a lot of what Godslayer was doing last round. That's dying first as Brig. It's not always your fault when it happens, but at the same time, if it's consistent, you really got to check your position a little bit.
Yeah, they've got to be super careful here. Now they're going to be rushing in onto the point. They're going to take this fight onto the point, and it looks like a rally comes in. Graviton actually gets caught onto the door, as it looks like it's an ult fiesta here, as you see just things going off left and right. Luciole got popped out in there for Pachimari Ninjas in the meantime somewhere there, as they're still fighting here. Drex actually took down Misty Merc again, being too aggressive. Strox gets a huge boop. That could be the game-saving boop here for the Omegahounds. They're trying to see if they can finish off Godslayer. Fear is on the point here. Fear's trying to build up as much percentage as he can. 91%. That's too much point. Looks like here, oh, they're stalling here. They're going to try to go for all 99 here. No ult's probably going to come out on the other side. Coach Taeyeon just stalling here as they're going to force out a Diva Bomb to make sure that they do get control. But at 99% here, it's upward sledding for the Omegahounds. They cannot lose any more fights.
Yeah, and I know we've seen a lot of what the 2 coaches from Omegahounds said earlier, and that's Zedox is coming up with these really big plays, that double boop to make sure that they'd stay alive in this fight. Pachimari Ninjas really could have just let that go because they're above 86%, and that's sort of a magic number, but they wanted to stall up to 99 just to make sure. And as long as they just, you know, wait out a fight, maybe take this first one if they catch them off guard. If not, you can have plenty of time to stall while you build up ults. So they're probably not worried coming into this last home stretch.
And they do pull the Graviton, and it will catch players as they weren't able to sort of stop it, but no kills here as Huspa gets a big kill on Slub, and it looks like Lukut takes out Fear, and they're going to win this fight. Looks like no front line here. The reset will come in, and at 47%, they're giving them a little bit of life here. Lukut and Quizzy B both have ults that are game-changing, a Transcendence and a Graviton up here available for the Omegahounds. They're giving it their all. They want to stay in this tournament. They want to be declared champions, but now it is going to be up to the Pachimari Ninjas here. Can they use their ults to actually come through?
I don't think this round. They have Bob and Shatter, which is a good combo. It's not the best, but they can work together. They really should be looking for these big combos instead of trying to make plays on themselves.
And that Shatter actually got countered because he got charged as Hutzpah was able to time it just right. Big Shatter on the other side of the wall. He's able to sort of get a lot of the players there, and bam! Looks like Omegahounds giving it their all here. 84% magic number is getting up there. They still have 3 ults with a Rally, a Transcendence, and the Graviton. They probably want to pop the Rally as soon as the attack is about to start. There it is. They're going to try to prevent them. They want to probably Graviton that doorway just to make sure that they don't even get in. They're not going to be able to use it. Diva Bomb gets sent right into the middle of the Graviton. It takes out 3! Bob's in the doorway. He's not contesting. There's only a Brigade left on the side. It looks like the Omegahounds are going to be able to survive the day. Overtime ticks down. We've got ourselves a fight, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to point 3. Omegahounds pull a 99-0 back on the Pachimari Ninjas, and we're going 3. We're going to end up going here to the Garden to figure out who wins Lijiang Tower.
Ready for battle.
That was definitely an exciting fight, and I think we saw the Omegahounds give a little bit of Pachimari Ninjas a little bit of their own medicine there, because we saw Pachimari Ninjas get really close to 99 but lose it on the first map, and then kind of the reverse happened. But this map is very different from the other two, because you very rarely see goats here, and that's sort of what Omegahounds have been using to keep their bread above water, if you will. And now we see the Pharah come out again from Godslayer, so they're not really running any counters. You got to really be careful about an unchecked Pharah.
Yeah, and this is going to be a really unchecked Pharah, because the rest of the Omegahounds are going to go to goats, and they're going to just basically fight on point. Quizzy B got killed there by Godslayer outside, so 3 kills already. This goats comp just not surviving the Pharah on the outside, and they're going to have to change their strategy a little bit. Rez actually gets used on Eslev, and it's going to be an easy take here for the Pachimari Ninjas, and they do have a comp here that will counter this goats, but they're still going to stick to it. Mr. Merc actually going to the Sombra now. Maybe seeing if maybe they can hack the Pharah, but if that Pharah is smart, it's going to stay up in the air.
Yeah, I have to think the Sombra here is for pack control, because Sombra's okay against Pharah. Honestly, the best counter for Pharah is probably D.Va and Teamwork, but everyone likes to say it's hit scan.
Yeah.
But they have to be using it for pack control at this point, especially switching the Brig off of Brig to Sombra.
So and they've actually gotten right onto the point here, and they've decided they want to fight on point, and this is where they're going to have the advantage. Godslayer using the barrage doesn't get anything, and they don't have to worry about anything. Bob actually gets sent into the back line here, and Bob is going to be trying to take out people, but MJ Coleman's just going to sit in front of Bob to see if they can get the point, as it looks like the charge actually will come in to take Bob out and nullify him, and then the point actually switches over. Bob did relatively decent damage, but the point will go to the Omegahounds here, and now they do have, they're looking at a 5-6 man come in here. They're really short on players. The advantage here being by the Pachimari Ninjas. They recognize that the entire team is on the field. They've had to use the Lucio ult here, and now both Lucio ults are on the fight as the engage actually will start. Mixingmark got taken out, and a Graviton here right around the pole will capture a lot of members of the Ninjas, but not kill anyone, as Lookout actually takes out Slow. The point still hasn't turned over yet, and finally they're able to sort of switch it over as a res comes in on Eslov, and now 44% to 30. This has gotten a little intense.
It definitely has. We've seen sort of a lot of these cases where teams would get big plays on the previous fight and use that to advantage in their next fight, especially from Pachimari Ninjas, because they've been sort of doing that between here and Control Center all the time. You get 3 picks, back up, or kind of wait a little bit, and then get the rest of the 3 picks while everyone else is coming back in.
Yeah. Oh, D.Va Bomb's getting sent back into both sections. It looks like Chutzpah got blown up. He didn't hit a wall fast enough. He wanted to sort of charge the bomb and then shield up right away. Kud wasn't able to do it. That might be a huge kill. That might be a game-winning kill, as it looks like the advantage here is still with the Ninjas. We're ticking up to 83, 84%. One more fight here, and the Ninjas are going to be your Rose League champions. Chutzpah now trying to wrap around. We're at 90% here. They've got to hurry. 93, 94. They don't want to get shut out from the point. Misty Merc here is going to wrap around and try to flank on the other side. He's looking for the EMP. He can't get killed. He wants the EMP and get something out of it. Now they're actually on the point. They've actually
leaving point.
They're leaving point. They've actually been able to kill Godslayer in the air, who took out Zadox. The EMP is active, but Misty Merc here is going to use it right there. They hacked, but I don't think he got enough players here, as the fight now is starting to turn into the members of Pachimari, as it looks like Ionis is coming up huge as he gets 2 kills, 1 with the Bob. Overtime starts to tick down, and there's nobody here left to contend. Quizzy B ticks down, and that's gonna do it, folks. That's going to be it. The Pachimari Ninjas. Pachimari Ninjas take the game and the victory and are your Rose League champions, beating the Omegahounds 2-1 here on Lijiang Tower, 4-2 overall. Congratulations to them for their, I don't know, is it their first title? I am not sure, but it is such a great game to have seen, and I've been honored to watch these two teams play for the Rose League title.